Hello and welcome to the Nope Coach podcast. This is episode 313, Consistent Online Presence. I'm your host, Suzanne. I'm welcoming today Rebecca Van Damm. And before we even say anything, as soon as I saw consistent online presence, I was like, cops that you want in your life. So without further ado, I'm going to hand over to Rebecca to lead us on. What does consistent online presence mean to you?
So a consistent online presence just means that you are showing up again and again online with value for the people who you want to serve and integrity to your point of view and your vision and your values so that you can build trust and build relationships. People know who you are. And by the time they get around to checking out your website and maybe considering working with you, you've built that relationship because you keep showing up. It can mean different things for different people. Sometimes when people hear consistent online presence, they think, oh, I got to show up several times a day or at least once a day. And that's not true. Consistent could mean once a week, 3 times a week, whatever works for you. And then they think, oh, I have to be on TikTok every day. And then it's no, you don't. You could be on Substack once a week. You could be on YouTube. You could be wherever works for you and your business and is strategic. And strategic is a whole other can of worms, so we don't have to get into that. But you don't have to be everywhere all the time. You just have to be showing up in at a cadence that makes sense for your business.
Have you met, random question aside from what you said, I've got lots of things to bring back to that, but are you familiar with or have you met May Sang?
No.
I should totally introduce you to. And for anyone listening, we did an episode, you'd scroll back, if you look it up, it was called Consistently, Not Constantly. And spoke to this very thing because I love how you said consistency can mean different things to different people. So often we jump on the next shiny bandwagon. It's like, okay, Jennifer says I need to be on TikTok and every single day. And then Georgina says I need to write a Substack once a week. And, Sandra says I need to be on YouTube. And then what we're trying to do is mishmash together 3, 4, 5, 10 different people's strategies. We end up kind of overwhelmed. Like, it's funny when people say to me, like, I'm not on many social media platforms anymore. And they're like, aren't you worried you're going to miss out? And I was like, no, because if I'm spreading myself thin across all these platforms, all I'm doing is dealing with a lot of spam, from each of the different things. I trust that the people who are meant to find me, and like at the time of this landing, it might, like, if you're listening to this show, I normally do daily, but I'm pre-recording because I'm going on vacation and I'm putting together a 9 grid for Instagram to show I'm still in business, but this isn't where I hang out. And sending people towards where I do hang out, which is YouTube. And I love, the thing you said, different things for different people. Consistent doesn't mean constant. And bringing into account your values and your point of view, because some people love doing a TikTok every day. And if that's the case, you do you. And some people love writing long form content on Substack. See, I don't have Substack yet, but what I do like about it as a consumer is when I join someone's Substack, I can go through their past stuff, much like a blog. Whereas when I join someone's newsletter list, I only get their most recent thing. And I've fallen into the trap of assuming people on my list know what I'm talking about. And I remember recently posting about Casimir, which is my son, by the way. And somebody wrote back and goes, so like, who's Casimir? And I was like, oh, there's no context here. So yes, tell us more.
Well, I love what you said about like being everywhere all at once for you. A, you get a lot of trolls or spam. But number 2, it does spread people thin and it makes you a full-time marketer when you have a whole other business to run. You need to be serving clients. And in the day of social media, so many businesses have become 75% marketers and 25% actually serving clients. And, depending on what business you're in, that's not why you got into business. Me, I'm a content strategist, so I don't mind spending time on social media, but even me, I can't be on social media all day. I do have clients to serve. I'm in my one-on-ones and I'm doing my courses and actually fulfilling what I've promised clients. I can't just be advertising my business all the time. So We're not Walmart, like we don't have giant teams to handle a bunch of different things. The people that we're talking to are small business owners, and maybe they have a little bit of help, but we don't have the kind of resources to be in all places all at once at this juncture in our business, if ever.
Two really great points there. The marketing versus serving could be a whole other episode. But yeah, we get into business to do our thing. But obviously, then we need clients to serve. So marketing is involved. But sometimes, and I'm sure I'm not the only one, you've seen someone's marketing who's second to none. And you say to yourself, wow, if they're marketing, if they give this shit away for free, what's it like when I get inside? And then you get inside and you're like, their free stuff was better. Because they've put all their effort into marketing. But then there's
Yes.
other people whose marketing's kind of shitty, not from, but as you said, if you're a solopreneur or, you have very little help, you're spending your time being in service to the clients, delivering on what people have paid you for. And I've fallen into this trap before where I've spent all my energy and time delivering to clients, and then their time has come up, their contract's finished, and I'm like, crap, who's next? Because I haven't spent any time marketing to bring them
Yes.
in. So
Right.
it's the conundrum of the small business.
Yes, absolutely. And enter systems and structures. And that's the main thing that, or one of the main things I work with people on, is creating systems that make your content a steady train, wherein you can sit in the back of the train and have some lunch while your content is still moving along. And a lot of that involves scheduling your content ahead of time, deciding what you're going to post ahead of time, mapping out 3 months ahead and saying, this is what needs to go out. Let me go ahead and create that now, get it scheduled, and then get on with my business. Those are the kinds of things that I teach and work with people on, because we shouldn't have to be poking around on Instagram all day long when we're trying to run a business.
100%. And I'm actually living this right now because we're recording this ahead, and at the time that it's going live, I'm going to be not on a train, but on a cruise ship. So, pretty amazing at sea. And my business, so like, it's funny because I'm in launch at the moment. And a few of my biz friends are like, are you crazy? You're going on launch. Like 2 weeks leading up to your program, you're going to be overseas on a cruise ship. Like, aren't you worried? And I was like, my business is still working. Suze, the person, is on a holiday, but Suze, the Nope Coach, the business, is still ticking along. And I think that's something, as you said, creating consistent online presence. Your business is like always working for you, not you working for your business constantly.
Exactly. And a lot of people haven't mastered that. So when they see someone who has, it kind of blows their mind. So that's really cool that you have that scheduled. I actually have a friend, Lauren Elizabeth is her name. And she's also a business coach, and she put out it's called the Lazy Launch.
Oh, I
And
like the name already.
yeah, you should talk to her.
Yes, writing this
And
down.
in that course, it's like a mini course. She says, schedule a week off during your launch. Like, get stuff scheduled and then take some time off right in the middle of your launch to keep your nervous system together. This is another thing that we're doing. Like, by getting our business, getting our content on a steady train, we're caring for our bodies and our minds and our spirit. Because, yeah, like you said, not only does it get to the point where we're working for our business instead of our business working for us, but we're burning the candle at both ends, and we're feeling like poop because we're running ourselves into the ground, we're stressed out, and we're really dysregulated. So, scheduling content ahead of time helps us regulate our nervous system so we can take time.
And such a great point you've raised there too. I know in the past, I've burnt the candle at both ends and in the middle in a launch. You finally get to the end of it, you're exhausted, you're depleted, and you just want a holiday. And then you're like, now I have to show up to these people who have paid me. Like, they're excited and they're ready to go. And they're like, this. And you're just like, go away. So it's kind of like, yeah, so that you can deliver on what you've promised 100%. And so you can do the thing that you enjoy doing. And but trusting that the content, as you said, because your online presence is consistent, choosing the method, because the other thing that you said that I wrote down was that it's going to be different things for different people. is going to be showing up for you even when you're asleep or on holiday or picking your kids up from school or cooking dinner or whatever it is, that you're not tied to your phone. Like, I
Right.
know that I'm very unusual in the fact that I don't do DMs. People are amazed that I have a business without doing DMs. And I'm like,
Mhm.
good old fashioned email. And how modern are we that we're calling email old fashioned? I was talking to my kids the other day about pen pals and they gave me the blankest look ever. And I was like, wow. But, you know, if that works for me, if selling in the DMs works for you, then build that in, but making
Yeah.
sure that you aren't, as you said, burning the candle at both ends, because then it's just it's not a pleasant experience. Entrepreneurs are the only people I know who leave a 9 to 5 to work 24/7.
That's the thing. People leave their toxic bosses to become their own toxic boss. And the truth is, you have to remember why you started your business in the first place. And likely on the list was, I would like to enjoy my life. So if you're building your business around something you don't enjoy, in your case, DMs, then what are you doing? You don't have to do that. You're like, I like email. I'm going to do it this way. And I tell solopreneurs time and time again, you are allowed to make business decisions like that, like doing something because you want to, or not doing something because you don't want to. And, you know, we could talk about, you're the nope coach. So you know all about this, like boundary setting, and, but also that how gendered it is, because I think as women, you know, we'll say non-men, because I'm sure there's non-binary people out there who feel the same way. There is a feeling of overgiving that just comes over us, and wanting to meet people where they're at, which is good on some level, but not at the expense of ourselves.
And also, well, at time, and I'll just give this last point. If you're overgiving in the onboarding process, if you're responding to DMs and you normally don't, or if you're responding outside of your normal typical working hours, or if you're giving more in that onboarding process than you're willing to give in the client exchange process, sometimes we wonder, we're like, oh, that person was a tyrant, or that person became needy, or whatever. And it's like, if you were like, yeah, but now, you know, now I've got your money, I'm just like, you know, actually, it's like this.
Yeah.
Sometimes we have a part in that. And I've done that in the past too, where I'm like, oh, actually. So like at the beginning, people like, if you have that stronger boundaries, people won't want to work with you. And it's like people who aren't a fit won't want to work with me, but that's good.
Right.
I'd rather filter them out now than have a
Exactly.
not comfortable for either of us client working together experience.
Yeah, we can't have people not wanting to work with us mean something about who we are. It's like rejection is God's protection. Like let people come and go based on our you know, the right fit. What's the right fit for both of us? I couldn't agree more. And yes, we can totally set a precedent for scope creep by allowing our scope to be too wide when we're onboarding, and then trying to narrow it later. It just doesn't work as well as just keeping it as narrow as it needs to be right at the beginning.
I love that. So Rebecca, let the listeners know what you do and what you have coming up and where they can find you.
Sure. So I am a content strategist, and my mission is to help people, mostly purpose-driven small business owners, taking down inhumane systems to take up the most space online, because there's enough people in the world who are taking up space online who are not doing great things for the world. So I am teaching a course called Content Cultivation Course. It is a 6-week intensive to help small purpose-driven businesses create a consistent online presence, even if they feel overwhelmed or strapped for time, even if they hate social media. I help them create systems that make it enjoyable and make it roll along like a steady train. And you can find me at RebeccaVanDam.com. That's RebeccaVanDamm, both as in Mary.com. And then if you want to find content cultivation course, it's /content-cultivation-course.
And it's also in your products, I think.
Yeah, if you go to my offerings page, you'll find it
Because
there.
I was
Yeah.
just clicking offerings, that's the word. I was clicking on it before we hit record. So
Yeah.
Rebecca's site is fabulous. Highly recommend you check it out. Thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you everyone for listening.
Thanks for having me.
Catch you on the next one. Bye for now.